2024 was an incredible year for DIYs, and I couldn't have done it without you. Each one of these projects that we are going to be covering were inspired by your ideas, suggestions, and challenges. Today we're looking back at the projects you helped to bring to life. These are my top 10 projects of 2024 and definitely projects you want to try in 2025. Before we get into this, I'm also going to be sharing some of the top comments that we got on each one of these projects, so I thought that that would be fun to do because I really do read your comments and they inspire me, they make me feel good, and then they also make me sometimes cry. So in a good way, like in a soft way. First up was my fireplace mantle. Now in years past, I've built fireplaces from scratch, and coming up in 2025, I really hope to build another fireplace from scratch in the family room with the monstrosity that my husband loves. I'll have to tell you about that on another episode. This time around, I had a fireplace. It just didn't have a mantle, and this was a very grand, tall fireplace, but it was missing something. So that's what we set out to do. So let's take a quick look back on what that project was like. This is our inspiration photo. Now this one retails for between $4,000 and $5,000, maybe even more expensive depending on the size of fireplace mantle you're getting. So we are going to try to recreate that for a few $100. So here goes nothing. That is what it looks like now. Now back to jigsawing our project. I like to use a cordless one, especially with a jigsaw. So I'm gonna attempt to cut 2 at a time. That way it will keep everything nice and precise, like to one another on each side. Perfect, so we're gonna leave these clamped together. I'm gonna break out the sander and yeah. Okay, I think this is gonna work. It's pretty smooth. I'm gonna be using masonite for the front part of the curve, and then on the edges, we're gonna snip this and run this on the corners and use joint compound and all of that. So here we go. That turned out really, really good. In fact, it's better than the other one. So this will be the outside one that you see first. And we are gonna cut down some 2x3s and then build some braces to support the structure. And then over the top of that, we will lay some masonite. Boom, that's awesome. So we just need to put a front on this, but it's pretty good. Okay, this was a little tricky, but we did it. It's not perfect, but I think that with a little caulk and putty, it will look perfect when we're done. So. We've got the 2 side pieces well underway. I've got the tape on the edges so that there's no cracking down the road. So I've done like some joint compound. Now the first layer I did on this one, I feel like it's gonna take too long. I don't have the patience to wait for it. So then I pulled out my dry decks spackling for this one. And then I'm gonna sand these down really good. And then I'm also gonna go get like a fast dry joint compound to give it a little bit more texture, but it is looking so good. I added the trim on the bottom, just the front part. Now we're gonna take this piece of wood and start to build out like the top part of the mantle. And we're gonna start by mitering the edges and doing like the front apron part. And then we're gonna set it on top of another piece. And we're just gonna start building it out. So I'm super excited. Okay, so we're gonna flip this up. Ooh, maybe. Okay, so this is gonna be the bottom, but we don't need to worry too much about all of this being exposed because we're gonna be putting this right here, and that's really gonna beef it up. But first, I'm gonna put on the top and we'll see how it looks. Is it working? It is, it's working. I am getting so excited about this. We are gonna start out with something that I'm comfortable with, and this is just some regular casing. I can miter the edges, it will be perfect. It will be easy peasy. So we're gonna start out with the bottom piece because the top piece is crown molding and that always stresses me out, but I feel like it could work. So let's go. Okay, we're starting to lose daylight and there's not really good light in this room, so I'm gonna try to get this done quickly. But we are going to use some 2x6s to mount our side pieces on. And so I am going to countersink some holes in here so that we can run some screws. And if I countersink them in far enough, then it just means the screw will get further in the stud and make it that much more sturdy. So we're gonna give this a try. So that's just a wood boring bit that I'm using. I just want to make sure we're going to hit a stud, so I'm going to go ahead and put the regular bit on. So I'm going to make sure this is level. Fantasies, I've got fantasies that we're driving down the boulevard. You hold me close and all the scars are gone. I should say I don't look the same as I did when you saw me last. Might be all the... Okay, so my husband actually came in here and marked the studs, and he used a stud finder and he marked either side, so I know exactly where to drill holes to attach our little ledge shelf holder. And basically I'm using this as a way to support the weight, as also a way to attach it to the wall. And so then I just pre-drilled the holes and screwed those right into the studs, and it was good. And then I just lifted up the mantle and then did finish nails into it here to hold it into place, and we're good to go. But I can already feel like the substantialness of this mantle, which is so what this room needed. But now my goal is to get it finished today. I don't know if we can make that happen, but we're gonna try real hard. The first thing we need to do is cut cement backer board for the top and the bottom. I wish I could be going to be using this 3M fire barrier sealant. It does have adhesive properties. And then this one, I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's around 300 degrees. It's Liquid Nails Fuse It Max, and it's fire resistant. But this has more of an adhesive property.
Feels just like cobblestone. Oh, why did she go? Oh, was I supposed to know that she'd leave? Was I too naive to think that she'd be the one? Whoa.
I am going to caulk everything after I do the joint compound, except for this one little break. I'm going to go ahead and just fill it in with some caulking now, let it dry, and then we'll do the joint compound over it.
She'd be the one. Whoa. Why did she go? I met her back in 2005. It was her crooked little smile that caught my eye. Time went by and it was her and I. She promised me to never leave my side, but she left me here alone. I know it's dumb, I still check my phone, 'cause I can't move on. Whoa. Why did she go? Whoa. Was I supposed to know that she'd leave? Was I too naive to think that she'd be the one? Whoa. Just tell me, why did she go?
Woo-wee, am I tired? I'm covered in, like, I don't know, dust, but wow, wow, wow. I am absolutely loving how this is looking. So next up, we need to caulk all of the seams, and then it will be ready to prime.
Whoa. Why did she go? Whoa. Was I supposed to know that she'd leave? Was I too naive to think that she'd be the one? Whoa. Just tell me, why did she go?
So when I was stuck on the color, I couldn't decide if I wanted to keep it white. Like the lime wash was kind of like a grayish color, which looked more like the cast stone inspiration piece. You guys really came to the rescue. You helped me out, helped me make the decision. And so I'm so grateful for you, because I am thrilled with the end result. And this was actually kind of during a crazy time. This was during hurricane season. So Hurricane Milton was bearing down on us when I finally finished the fireplace. And I got this comment from, I got many comments, but this one's from at Lynn Inest 5716. I'm sorry if I slaughtered that. Some of these are just like names and numbers, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. So happy you and your family are safe and damage was minimal. Your fireplace looks amazing, and I'm impressed and inspired by you. Thank you so much. Love the design you came up with to make a beautiful mantle, which is exactly what your fireplace needs. Looking forward to seeing it finished. I like white because it looks like the rest of the trim in the room and column is white. Now she voted white, so hopefully she still likes the end result of the lime wash. Hopefully I sold her on that, and hopefully we can use that finish in some other areas in the home so that we have continuity. But it does kind of go with the grout color, so the whole look pulled together in the end, and I love it, and I hope you did too. Okay, so we've got this all primed, and honestly, I love it. So if I decide that I don't like the lime wash, then I might just go right back to this primer color and put another coat or two on it and call it a day, because I'm liking the matte finish. But I figured since I have the lime wash, I might as well just give it a try and see what it looks like. And then, like I said, I can always just paint over it. We're gonna give the lime wash a try. We'll see how it goes. Here we go. Let's hope this goes good. I'm just going with the flow here. Get it in all the cracks and crevices. And then I'm gonna just kinda, I don't know if I'm liking this, to be honest with you. We'll see. Maybe I just need to keep working on it. I feel like this might be something that's better on a bigger area. I don't know. I don't know what to do about this taking too much off. This is really interesting. Maybe this is one of those things that needs several coats and it looks better with layers. I don't know. I am not digging it so far, but I'm gonna let the jury just still be out. The color itself is not terrible. We're off to not a very good start. I'm not liking this, but I'm wondering if I just need to trust the process and layer it up like it says to do. What are you thinking, honey?
You're doing great.
I'm doing the just trust the process, because if you go over here, it's starting to dry better. It looks kind of crazy right now, and I'm trying to go with the flow, but I'm like, what? But if you look over here, it's looking better. You know, here's the thing. If it doesn't work out, we'll just paint right over it. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. I'm fine. This looks bad, but that's starting to look really good over there. So I'm trying to just see this through, see it through. I gotta be honest, this looks like a kid did it. It looks so weird. But I'm telling you, I'm seeing how it's looking over there and it's giving me hope. So I'm gonna keeping on, and in a second here, I'll show you what I'm seeing to give me a little bit of hope that this is not gonna be a total epic disaster, because we're about finished with the first coat. And then I think if it's looking as good as it's looking over there, then I'm gonna do at least one more coat, maybe two. Okay, let's go check this out. Okay, so we're gonna start above the mantle. This is a pretty good color match, but the finish is a little bit different, so I'm gonna have to feather it out to make it look a little bit better.
'Cause she left me here alone. Now my bed feels just like cobblestone. Oh, why did she go? Oh, was I supposed to know that she'd leave? Was I tonight?
So I have a big goal for 2025, and that is to hit 500,000 subscribers. I want to build and grow this community and help uplift as many people as I possibly can. And so if you have not yet hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. If you find value in this, hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of the things that I've got going on, and I've got a lot planned for the next year. One of the first projects I took on was the breakfast nook area, and that included two projects. The first one was the breakfast nook bench. Now, this breakfast nook was kind of small. It had a beautiful corner window, and so when I saw that corner window, I'm like, it needs a window seat, because I could just see that being a place that somebody sits and looks out the window at the lake behind it, and I was super excited to take advantage of that and also maximize the amount of seating, because my sons are teenagers right now and we hope to have lots of kids in our home. So let's take a quick look back on building the nook bench. So the first thing we're going to do is mark a level line of where we want the top of the bench to be, or the top of the 2x4s, I should say, because we'll have a piece of plywood that will sit on top of the 2x4s, but we need like a solid foundation for our bench. So we're gonna mark 17¼ on the wall, and that's right there. Then you just mark it, and you want to mark it all the way around. There we go. I think we just need to get right in and start cutting some wood and just get the process rolling along. And we are gonna just start working with lumber that I already have. So I have a mixture of some 2x3s, which is what I'm gonna start with. I also have some 2x4s. So our first cut is gonna be 42 inches because we're gonna actually split it because it runs right into an electric outlet. So we've got to avoid that. I don't want to remove any of the electrical. So we are going to cut this. Our last one on that back plate is 18½. Let's get started here. We are gonna hang the first like cleat, I guess you could call it, right back here. So I'm just gonna put one in here, and that will kind of hold it on one end, and then we'll make sure it's level. And then we're gonna tack it into a couple different spots. We're gonna do that all the way around. Then I'm gonna get my stud finder, and then we are going to put some long screws into the studs so they are nice and secure. Cuts were perfect. First try. I love it when that happens. So now we're gonna find the studs and screw some long screws right into those studs to make this nice and secure. Now we're ready to drill some screws into the studs so that this is nice and secure. We're gonna start it slow, get it into the wood. Boom. Okay, with this cleat in place, I'm gonna go ahead and cut all the wood for like the face framing area, so the front area and all the support that we're gonna do.
Close your eyes.
All right, this is what I got done today. I'm gonna call it a night, but I'm really happy with how it's all looking so far. It's awesome. Next up, we're gonna secure everything. Right now it's just all sitting here, but we need to make sure it's nice and secure. So we're gonna start screwing it together so that it's like a solid piece. So let's get started.
Hold my hand. Don't let go. I understand. It hurts, it wasn't fair.
Okay, we've got this all sturdied up. It's super solid. Now we get to start the fun stuff, which is putting on all of the decorative trim. And this is where it's really gonna start to take life. So we're gonna go out and cut down some masonite that I already had in my stash. Let's go cut, and then we're gonna start installing. really good. We've got all of our basic trim on now. Now we're gonna do a decorative trim, and I am going to just use miter shears, which means we don't need to use a saw. We can just clip this because it's very lightweight. And then I'm actually not gonna nail it into place because I used the masonite, which is thinner. And so me putting a nail in a lot of the spots won't work. So I'm gonna use wood glue and just tape it into place, let it dry. It will be just fine, especially once we add caulking and all of that. So that's the plan. So we're just gonna miter these out using miter shears, and you can totally do this yourself as well. Okay, so before we install this last piece, I do feel like I need to do one more brace right here to kind of support the edge of this lid that will lift up and down. There's nothing right there to brace that edge. It would probably be fine, but I just would feel better with it more secured. Okay, so I got a lot of really great comments, and thank you for all of your comments. This next comment comes from Mrs. Alma Trumbull. I want to thank you so much, Mrs. Alma Trumbull, for being such a huge proponent and supporter of the DIY community. I know many other DIYers that I've talked to who have felt of your love and support, and I know that you're going through a hard time right now, and so I just hope that things look up for you in the future, and I'm so grateful for you being such a supporter of this channel. So everybody give her some love and some well wishes, and hopefully things will look up for her in 2025. So her comment on this video, and she comments like on every video, but I just snagged this one. I wish that I had 25% of your creativity. Oh my word. All of you have creativity within you. I promise. You just have to tap into it. And it might not be in the DIY space. It might be something else, but I truly believe that all of you are born with this innate creative ability, and whether that's DIY or something else, you all have creativity within you that you just need to tap into. But thank you so much, Alma. The breakfast nook is coming together so beautiful. Thank you. We also got another comment from Susan Haddon 4633. She says, wow, that looks like a custom job. Thank you, guys. That was the first time I've ever built that, so I was a little nervous, and I really appreciate that support. So pretty and functional with the storage. Love it. Dolly was such a big help. Now, Dolly is such an integral part of this community, and she is such a fun little addition, and she brings so much joy into our lives, and we hope that she brings joy into yours as well. The next step we did in the Breakfast Nook makeover, we did lots of things. We did some picture frame molding and all of that, but we also built a table. And this one was really, really fun to do because it was so simple. I wasn't turning any wood or anything. I simply put two things together and created a beautiful breakfast nook table that we love, and it had a butcher block top and all of that. So let's take a quick peek back at that project. This herringbone butcher block countertop comes in, I think, 3 different sizes. I think comes in a 48. This is a 72 inch, and then there is a, I believe, 96-inch version. I need to cut off a little bit of the length just because, again, we are working in a confined amount of space. Safety glasses, I'm gonna put on a face mask to avoid some of the dust getting inside my lungs. So, as I always say, safe is sexy even when it's not. This is definitely not sexy, but it's safe. Just to finish it off nicely, I'm gonna take my sander and sand it up. So this is the pedestal base that we're gonna be using for our table. It's really beautiful. I'm super happy with it. You could probably thrift something like this, or maybe you have an existing table where the tabletop is not good and you want to reuse that. In our case, there's no like support plate for a tabletop. So you can see these screws sticking out. So we're gonna build something out of wood in my wood shop, and we'll hope that it works out good. So we need to make sure that our holes that we make for our support plate align with these 4 holes. So I'm just gonna take some lipstick and put it like so. And then we're going to do our very best to align this. And I just need to hope that I do it good. And that's where we need to drill holes. So here's our template. So I think it's lined up this way. Now we're gonna tape this down. We don't want it to move while we're using it as a template, so. Okay, so we are ready to pre-drill some holes here. And the first thing I'm gonna be using is a wood boring bit. And we're gonna just do it to the edge of this blue tape. We've used that as a marker. And that is to allow enough depth for a washer, a locking washer, and a nut that will go on the bolts to bolt this into place. We don't want them sticking out, otherwise we won't have a flush tabletop. Then we're gonna use a regular bit to drill the rest of the way through so that the bolts can come through, if that makes sense, without wobbling all over the place. So we're gonna just go down just far enough, try to get this nice dead center. Okay, we're gonna paint the underside and the outside of it black to match the table base, just so it disappears essentially, so. Okay, so this is essentially going to be the base. It's painted. We're gonna go ahead and bolt that on, but first we are going to pre-drill some holes on the underside. I think I'm gonna do 2 here, and then 2 on the other side, so a total of 8 bolts coming into our butcher block. Then we are going to attach it. So excited about this. Okay, so we've measured around all of the edges here and it is perfectly centered, and I'm just to make sure, I'm going to draw all the way around. So we're gonna pre-drill for these into the top, and we need to make measurements. We did it, and she is beautiful. To seal it, I'm gonna be using this Butcher Block conditioner that's food grade. It's a natural mineral oil. It says to do 3 or 4 coats. I'm just gonna follow the directions on the bottle. And yeah, I'm so excited. This is so pretty. It looks so high-end too. Wasn't that really doable? And I hope that that's what you feel when you watch these projects, is that you can totally do some of these things. You just need to give it a try. And the thing is if that seems too big to you, start with something small. You can grow line upon line, precept upon precept, and eventually you will be surprising yourself. And at Don Ross 644 said, "You never cease to amaze me. I see why HGTV wanted you." Well, if you haven't seen that episode, make sure you check that out. I go into my HGTV journey a little bit later, and I'll bring that up in just a minute a little bit more. And she says, "And why you did you, because I cannot imagine us being denied your independent talents and designs. Bravo, beautiful lady. You are going to make me replace my dining room table with that amazing herringbone. Miss Natalie, you always inspire us. Thank you for helping us love our surroundings and our home, even if alone like me." So this comment really spoke to me, because my goal is to help inspire you to do things, like I said, that you didn't think possible. And then also she said she's alone, and that makes me sad. But we are not alone in this community. Let's buoy each other up. Let's really lift and elevate each other, like I said. And Dawn, I hope you feel that in our community. You are amazing. Okay, this next project was something that I had been dying to do for a long time, and I don't know why I put it off, because when I actually tackled it, it was way more doable than I even thought. And that was my DIY TV frame. Even though I don't have a Samsung Art TV, we all want a beautiful frame, right? But without the expensive TV,
Too expensive.
in this project, that's what I showed you how to do. So let's take a look back at how doable this project is. So this is a 1x2 PVC, and we are literally going to just stick it down, and it's like the perfect width, because this is 1.5 inch wide and this is 1.5 inch wide. We'll stick this down. I think all you do is just peel off the back and then stick it down. So you're gonna want to not peel much of the backing off until you've got it lined up. We'll just make sure everything's lined up, and then we'll pull the red back as we go. Now we have like a 1x4 that we want to attach to make like a beefier frame. So what I might do first is run a bead of this Loctite on the side, and then I'll flip it down and we'll attach it. So here we go. I clamped everything down really good, and you could also use the painter's tape. I ended up doing that in a couple of spots to really get things set and held into place while it dried. So then I had 2 8-foot sections of what would essentially be our frame molding. Let that dry for at least 2 hours. That's just such a nice cut when you attach it all to begin with. It's just the only way to do that. Now we can assemble. Yay! So I have these corner cuts from our wall project, and I'm just gonna glue those into the corners just to add a little bit more stability and support. Okay, there's our frame. As you can see, I've got a couple corners that are still drying, and then I'm gonna do some spackling and caulk to make it nice and smooth, and then we'll start painting. Then after I made sure it fit on my TV, I was not feeling like super confident that those corners would be extra sturdy. So I went and got some L brackets and corner brackets, and I did the inside of the back part of the frame with an L bracket, and then in the front area I did a corner bracket and screwed those into place, and that just made everything nice and tight and flush and all of that good stuff. And now I know that this is gonna be way more steady and ready to go. We needed to lift this frame up just a touch so it sat right on the TV. So I've added like this little 1x1 strip to kind of lift it up so it sits correctly. Before I went ahead and painted everything out, I made sure that all of the seams were caulked again, all of the holes were puttied, and everything was nice and crisp and ready to receive paint. So then what I did is I sprayed the whole thing out in a flat black spray paint. I started on the underside and then I flipped it over and make sure that the background was this flat black, which got rid of that shiny, weird texture on the molding. So we've got a black coat on the back side and the top side. It's looking super good. And now we're gonna start dusting with a bronzy color to match the bedroom. But that's looking really good. Okay, I'm gonna use a couple of different colors. This one, I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of like a bronzy gold color, like a brass. And then this one is an antique bronze. The lid looks like that. We're gonna just kind of mix and match and try to get a metallic finish. And it doesn't even matter that this is still kind of wet because I'm just doing a light dusting. I just was like kind of almost like graffiti effect style, mixing the gold, mixing a bronze color, mixing a black to really give a nice aged patina. And there would be like little hits of the gold color, little hits of the bronze color, and a mist of the black to kind of age it out. So, oh my goodness. I am super happy with this. Then I wrangled up my husband, we put it on the TV, put the elastics around the back, and you guys, I was dying with seeing how it looked in the garage, but it looked so good on my TV. I am so in love with it. I love how this turned out. I wished I had done it forever ago. And you know that I'm gonna do this to every TV in my house eventually. I probably am not gonna do it out in my family room yet because I've got a lot of projects that need to be done prior to do that. But you guys, you should totally do this. This looks amazing. And on top of it, I can take this same method and create a beautiful chunky frame for anything like an oil painting, a picture, a mirror. This is such a good project and I am thrilled with the texture, the way it looks. It looks so high end, and I put in $60, which was pushing it, and a lot of that was that the peel and stick trim was kind of expensive. If you didn't like that look and wanted to do something a little cleaner, it would be half the price easily, and it dresses up your TV. It makes it look so good. I love this project. I hope you try it. This instantly elevated my TV, instantly added a little bit more elevation to my bedroom, and I love it. Okay, so our comment comes from @SassyMainVegas. That's a fun name. She said, thanks. Another great video, Natalie. Your bedroom looks amazing and I love the TV framed. I wonder though, aren't your hands sore by the end of the day? Well, sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of these projects can be time consuming and taxing, but I will tell you, the thing with a DIY is it is so satisfying when you build something with your own hands, and it's really amazing, and you step back and are so proud of yourself. And I hope that that's what you guys feel when you take on some of these projects or your own projects. There is such an immense satisfaction that you feel when you do a project yourself. And while I'm thinking about it, what is the project that you have done that you are most proud of? Let me know in the comment section below. So next up are a couple projects. We'll kind of tie them together. They're a little together. They were done in separate episodes. But the first one was the DIY cornice board. Now, I had something to start with. It was this fabric covered valance that was looking very tired and worn, but I loved like the substance of it. I just didn't like the style of it. So let's take a look back and see what I did. All right, let's just rip off the Band-Aid here. Just do it. I think we can work with this. I really do. I'm not sure what to do about that. We'll work with this. How do we not drop this? Is this gonna be heavy?
Down the boulevard, you hold me close and all the scars are gone. I should say
I don't think it needs to be very perfect on the underside. What we just need to be wary of is we don't want like any staples poking out or anything like that could snag on curtains that we're gonna do down the road. I'm gonna kind of lift this up and let all of the staples drop on the floor, and I'll sweep those up, and then I'll go back and like hammer in anything that's still sticking out.
to know that she'd leave us out tonight, to think that she'd be the one. Whoa. Why did she go? I met her back in 2005.
So here's what I've got here. First of all, I've got enough of this trim, hopefully, to put on the bottom here, disguise some of the unevenness that was just already there and existed prior, and add, you know, a beautiful decorative element. So we're gonna start with this trim, and we're gonna just do a miter on the edge. So we're gonna just cut this on a 45-degree angle. That's what a miter is. So we should be able to nail this in place. And I'm not gonna use wood glue because I think when we add the caulking and everything, it will all work itself out, and that will help add some protection. So we're gonna cover up some of this ugly here, and we're gonna make sure that this is as level as we can get it. You know, it's really hard when like the whole thing is not. So we're gonna get this on the edge here, and we're going to finish nail this into place. We're gonna try to make it level over here, and then we'll kind of fill it in. Okay, now we can make sure that this lines up good, and we'll nail in between. This top molding that we're gonna do up here to kind of beef it up a little bit is so thin that I'm gonna just use miter shears. It's quicker, it's easy, it's so good. So one creative way that I'm contemplating this seam is like doing some picture box molding and putting the molding literally over this seam, and then making the same size of picture box molding over here, and then maybe like a smaller version in here. Holding it there, I gotta put this right here to mark the outside. That makes sense, and then we need the miter to go this way. So that should get us close enough.
Was I supposed to know that she'd leave us out tonight, to think that she'd be the one? Whoa. Why did she go?
That's it. So now we're gonna quickly do some putty, and I'm gonna use a baby wipe to get rid of the excess so we won't even need to sand the putty, and then we are going to caulk.
Next to you, it's true. Nowadays there's nothing I wouldn't do for you. Fire breath and open sky. It's not what we know, it's where we go. I grow wings and tell her goodbye. It's not what we see, it's what we choose to be. We're beyond good. I've never been so ready. Fire breath and open sky. It's not what we know, it's where we go. I grow wings and tell worry goodbye. Oh, it's not what we see, it's what we choose to be. Fire breath and open sky. It's not what we know, it's where we go. I grow wings and tell worry goodbye. It's not what we see, it's what we choose to be.
Okay, we've made this cornice board a lot heavier, so we need to make sure that all of our brackets are in studs, because currently they are not. And then I'm also going to be using some 3-inch screws to go into those studs, so hopefully it will be a lot more secure. That should be in there good. I switched to a 3-inch screw. Okay, we're gonna fix the rest of them. All right, so we did the cornice board, but I felt like it was missing a little something. So up next, I added some DIY grid, which really elevated the look of the door. So let's take a quick look back at the grid as well as the curtains that went with it. I decided to do on the outside. I have got my measuring tape and a dry erase marker so that I can make some dry erase marks on it. We're gonna mark in a couple different locations so that we can follow our painter's tape down. For me, it's like 11 3/4 about. Okay, there's our grid, and honestly, kind of love it. So hopefully it turns out good with the real stuff. Okay, so we should just be able to follow our grid pattern. We're just gonna follow our window grid on here, right in the center. Okay, so now we can take these cutoffs that vertical, and we can cut them short to fit in between all of these. So it's gonna be easy peasy. I'm obsessed, I love it. Now that we have that grid to work off of, we're gonna use a ruler and a level to try to take it all the way across. So here we go. We are almost done, and it's It's looking so, so good. I ended up a ginormous extra panel. So what we're gonna do with this ginormous panel, and we are gonna just hang this just above, right underneath there, and try to get into some studs so that we can open and close our curtains. I'm doing double brackets here because we're doing 2 of those poles and this is where they're gonna meet. I wanna make sure that they are all properly supported. Those are going to be able to support a lot of weight. I believe these curtain panels are 215 inches long. So I'm going to spread that out. So we're going to just stretch this out so that we can cut it down. Okay. I wonder if I should hang these and then like hem them right in place. The grid is done and it looks amazing. Don't mind all the stuff in front of it, but I am obsessed. These are really, really heavy. They're lined and everything. Okay, we're almost there. All we have to do is hem the curtains. Okay, time to mark the hem. We definitely have enough length, so that's good.
That's good, that's good, that's good.
If I had a boat, I would sail out, take every brother and sister of mine. We'd roll in the sunshine and sleep when it's dark, hoping to find somewhere we can call home. But it's black, yeah, it's black. Oh, the water's black, 'cause it's black, it's all black. If I had some time, I'd be biting it well, but my house is on fire, there's no one left to tell. Just take what is given, the doors have been sealed.
Our next comment comes from Prey on Kreutz. That looks German or something. 2398. I don't know. My eyesight's getting a little bad these days. I hope that I got that right. She says, your setbacks on this project are the story of my life on every project I try. And let me just say, that is the case on every project. Hardly anything ever goes according to plan or goes smoothly. And so setbacks are just a normal part of DIY, and I want you to feel like that's normal. So that's why I tried to leave in some of the setbacks and the challenges and not just present this picture perfect thing, because that's not true and that's not true to DIY. So that's why I leave in the mistakes. I leave in the embarrassing moments. And she says, you deserved a brand new sewing machine. If you lived closer, I would have lent you mine. The windows turned, thank you. The windows turned out amazing. Can you show us from the outside? Do you think that you'll need to apply the trim on the other side of the glass? Yes, I will definitely be adding it to the other side of the glass. I am just giving it a test run. I only did this like a month or so ago. I want to see how it holds up before I go all in on some of the other doors and on the outside. So that's a great question. Have you thought about trimming around your windows? That would look really nice. Yes, definitely on the list of things to do. There's so many things to do, but I would love to trim out the windows a little bit more. I'm debating tackling your fireplace surround project. I don't know if I have the woodworking skills down quite yet. Well, keep trying, because with persistence you will get better, and I have come a long way over the years. So just keep practicing, keep trying, keep watching every week so that I can share with you some of those setbacks and challenges, and you can overcome them along with me and learn from my mistakes, because There are many. I know that we all have setbacks in life and in DIY, and that's why I leave those in, because that is life, isn't it? It's a challenge. It wasn't meant to be easy, but hopefully in the end, it's like DIY, it is all worth it. Okay, so this was a bold project. It was something I have wanted to do since the day we knew we wanted to buy the house, and that was paint out my French doors black. Do you trust me? Let's take a look back and see if I was right. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is remove the handle, because I am going to be switching that out, but it will make it easier for us to paint. So I'm gonna use the Athena drill by Ikea. Let's remove the doorknob. Okay, I think we just need to pop this off by sliding a little flathead screwdriver underneath. There we go. There we go. Okay, but now what? What? There's a little hex screw like on the inside, like a little tiny one. So I need to go grab a little tiny Allen wrench and we'll be okay. Oh, I got it and didn't even realize it. Okay, we get it. Yay. You guys, I shut the door and I took the handle off, so now I can't open it very well. But can we all just take a minute to see what we've done for privacy to this point? So we're gonna be doing something a little bit better. Let's see if I can grab it. Okay, I did it. I'm not locked in here forever. Let's finish taking off this knob so that we can paint. Oh my goodness, there we go. So this piece broke off of here, and I think it was always like that from like when they built it, and they over chiseled out the spot for the doorknob. What do they call it, the latch? They just kind of stuck it there and painted over it, or maybe they even wood glued it, which is what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna do some wood glue, and then I'm gonna clamp it into place, and then we'll just start by painting this other door first. Let's see if we can do that. The clamp was going to be a little bit overkill, so I just taped it in place. Honestly, I think I'm going to have to do some putty and sanding as well. But we're going to go ahead and proceed painting anyways, because we still need to tape off. We need to like do more than one coat, so we can like paint everywhere except for that one little area while that dries. And yeah, let's start taping. Okay, we're all taped up. Now we're gonna just cut out all of the corners with a straight edge blade, and then we will start painting. We are gonna just put some putty on this. Hopefully that will help, but this is not awesome. We've got the first coat on this door, and it's looking pretty good. I think we could get away with 2 coats. It looks pretty good though. I cut in all of the door grids with a brush, and then I rolled everything else. We We've done 2 coats on this. I am loving it so far. In the end, I think taping was an absolute waste of time because I ended up having to go in with a straight edge blade anyways and scrape paint off the glass. And when I pulled the tape, it pulled back some of the paint in a couple of areas. So I ended up having to paint in those areas. So in the future, I'm going to forego taping on a glass window or door like this and cut in and use a straight edge blade to get the paint. I think I'm in love. Now we're not gonna have time to do the reeded film on the glass. I just don't have the time in this episode, but we will do it eventually. But what we will do is I did get some roller shade blinds that we can put for privacy. In the meantime, I've got some new knobs. Let me show them to you. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? So that will go in right there. I also did get like a dummy one. We'll see if we can get on the other one. Just depends on how long it looks like it will take. Okay, we're gonna take this sad excuse for privacy down and put up something proper. All of you guys if that was a good move to paint my doors out black, and I thought, I didn't know what you guys would say, but the overwhelming majority was absolutely yes. You loved the black French doors, and I am so glad. For this time, 6237 said, wow, the French doors are beautiful, loved it all, and there were so many more just like that, and that really made me feel like I made the right choice, which is awesome because I have another kind of black door project planned for 2025. It's gonna be like the pantry door, but I've got more than just painting it black planned. So you'll have to stay tuned in and subscribe to see what I'm talking about because that one could get dicey. And speaking of dicey, now this one was really controversial and I also didn't know how you were gonna receive it, but we had this stainless steel fridge, but I have wanted to paint a fridge for a while and I'm like, if I'm ever going to try it, this is the time because the fridge is like 18 years old and kind of on its last leg, and I'm like, you know what, this might be a good time to test this out and see if I like the look and see how it goes. And I was willing to take the risk. Even my husband was like, I don't know, Natalie, that's kind of crazy, but let's take a look back and see if it turned out in the end. Now we're gonna start disassembling the fridge. We need to remove the handles. We're gonna remove the GE logo. So here we go. Let's disassemble. Okay, I just am sliding this underneath. It's supposed to be able to pop off. Gone. So we are ready to start painting, and I have to tell you, when I went into Sherwin-Williams to get the paint guy asked me what I was doing for a project, and he gave me the hairy eyeball, and he was like, come again? And then he recommended this Extreme Bond primer for its exceptional adhesion for hard to stick surfaces. So we're gonna use it to prime the exterior. And then we decided to use an exterior grade paint, and this is actually the same paint that I used on my front door. It actually is not stinky at all, but I think it will withstand a little bit more abuse than interior paint. I'm gonna do just a really light sanding with some 220 grit. I hope it's not too intense. I'm just gonna focus on the front because the sides are already bumpy, and I'm just gonna mainly do the front where we want it extra smooth. And we're trying all kinds of new things. Hopefully this works. All right, it's the next morning and I did 2 coats of primer yesterday and 2 coats of paint. And now we're gonna do probably just 1 more coat of paint on the front, and then we are gonna install some really cool handles. The first thing I'm gonna do is I actually found a 300 grit sanding block, and I'm gonna just do a really light sand on the front here, and then we'll get painting. So now we need to add some new handles, and I'm going to be using this, and guess what it is? It is a towel bar, and as you can see, like on this end, it is loose. I think it is crazy, crazy awesome. I love it. The finish on it is so pretty. Actually, on camera, it's showing a little bit lighter and maybe grayer than it actually is. It's actually a very rich black. It's got some warmth to it though, and I love these gold towel bars that I got. What do you think, honey? After it's all said and done.
I cannot believe you did it.
Do you like it?
This looks so good. This looks so good. When you said, like, hey, I'm gonna paint the fridge.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I didn't, I was like, you know what?
You didn't tell me.
I kind of made a funny face to them. It looked great. I mean, it looks really, really good.
Awesome.
Good job.
Oh, high five. What did you think of that crazy project? Did you like it? Well, let's read one of the comments on that, and that is from @RoxyPoe 9586, and she says, decades ago there was a sitcom called Grace Under Fire, and I actually do remember this. I don't remember watching it a lot, maybe a couple of times. And then she goes on to say, every couple of weeks the main character Grace would be painting her fridge a different color. I did not remember this about this show, but I laughed when I saw that. That's hilarious. She was working a dead-end job, living on the economic edge, and I'm trying to keep the kids fed. It was so hilarious. As a woman living with very, very, very limited means, as I tried to finish my education, it felt like I had some sort of cosmic permission to make dumb decisions like painting my fridge. But I like your boldness for painting the fridge. Awesome. You're a girl after my own heart, so thank you for that. She says, I used automotive paint. That is a cool idea. That is really, really cool. I bet it's super, super durable. It was wonderful. My candy apple red fridge gave me great joy, so I painted the washing machine. I love it. Candy apple red fridge and washer and dryer. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm glad you enjoyed that. And just as like a follow-up, because I've had some questions on how it's held up. So I painted it probably in March of 2024, and so it's been 9 months. It's holding up great. I've washed it down. I have kids. It is still going strong. So that ended up working out, as well as the handles are holding firm. And I am so glad that I did it. I love the way it looks in there. And I thought that was a fun thing to try, and it's still going strong. So we love that project. We did a lot of Ikea hacks in 2024, and I think that in 2025 we'll be doing some Ikea hacks too. Let me know if you like the Ikea hacks. It seems like you do. And this one was probably my favorite Ikea hack of the year, and it was taking a dresser and turning it into a high-end designer look-alike bookcase. So let's take a look back at that project. The Ikea Rast dresser is probably one of the most hacked Ikea pieces, and I took inspiration from a couple of designs from Ballard Designs, and I'm going to really try to emulate that. First area I want to address is the top here. So I have a couple of pieces of these lumber, and it's obviously too big, but what I'm thinking is we can cut it down so that it has a little bit of an overhang here and on the sides, and that will just make it look like a higher quality piece of furniture. So we're going to take the measurements and cut this down. So for the side shelves, I've got this 1x12 that is gonna be perfect. It's 8 feet long. We're gonna cut it directly in half, make sure they're even, and then we'll use those for the side shelves. And then I've got some more 1x12 pieces in here that we can hopefully use for a couple of shelves. So here we go. So easy. So we're gonna tack these in place with some glue and nails, and then we'll secure them more with some screws. We could put braces here to support our shelves, and that would be fine. But what I'm thinking to kind of keep things a little bit cleaner is I'm going to use these little bracket things. And there's all sorts of contraptions that you can do those with, but I don't have any of those. So I'm just going to take a little piece of tape and mark my bit that I don't want to go any deeper than where the blue tape ends. And we'll just make sure we mark really well where we're drilling our holes and keep it consistent. I will use the thickness of this to make the plus sign so we know exactly where we're gonna go. All right, let's see how we did. Oh my gosh, that totally worked out. I'm gonna line it up on the bottom, but I am so super excited. To finish up our shelf, we just needed to paint it out. I used paint that I already had on hand, some white left over from my dining room project for the back part and the shelves, and I did a couple of coats. The taupey color was a reject from my bathroom renovation that I did in my old house, and I ended up doing 3 coats. Now, I should have just primed it, but I'm like, you know, I'm constantly skipping the priming, and I can usually get away with it. In this case, I ended up having to do 3 coats, which makes no sense. I should have used a primer. I think it would have gone on much better, but in the end we got the finished look that we want. And then I made a template to do our hardware drilled holes with my beautiful and powerful Athena drill, of course. And then I added some antique looking hardware, and it is done, and we've styled it. You can see it right back here in the background. I love how this turned out. It's so beautiful. And honestly, I started out with kind of a smaller dresser. The Ikea Rast is like basically like a nightstand size, maybe a bigger nightstand, but not a huge nightstand. And I think that you could take this idea and do it on a larger dresser at a larger scale, and it would turn out amazing. And so I ended up doing it twice as tall as the base, and I think that this looks like something that you could have gotten from Ballard Designs or even Pottery Barn. I think it turned out so beautiful. And again, you don't need to start with an Ikea piece. You could do the same concept with a dresser that you can find at a thrift store or someplace near you. Now, this project is proof that you can take a small budget and get a high-end designer look, because this really did turn out so good. I still have it in my bedroom, love it. You can take a prefabbed piece of furniture, build like a simple bookcase and put it on top, a little bit of trim, a little bit of paint, and boom. You have a similar look without the similar price tag. And it says at Mike Booth. Now, I'm gonna caveat, it's signed by Susan. So Susan was probably using maybe the husband's account for this comment, but Susan says, when I was younger, I wish I knew you. Well, I wish I knew you, and I'm glad that I do know you. So thank you, Susan. You're not only talented, but you seem so kind. Well, you're kind for saying I'm kind and leaving such a kind comment. I bet your husband adores you. Well, I kind of adore him, let's be honest. I am all crazy for him. I love watching your videos, but I'm unable to do many of the DIYs anymore because of health issues. And that is another common theme that I got in a lot of my comments. A lot of you are going through health struggles, which is something that I can totally relate to. I really have compassion for all of you that are struggling with your health. I pray for you, I pray for your health, and I hope that you can find it, because that's hard. But you give me ideas of small projects that I can do. Thank you for making these videos. And you're so welcome. It's my pleasure to make these videos for you, for all of you. You bring me so much joy, and I hope that I can return the favor to you. The next project was a really tender project for me, and it holds a special place in my heart because the project itself represents so much more, and that was the DIY Star Marquee. Now, let's take a look back on this project, but if you want more of the story behind it, I'm gonna definitely recommend you go watch that episode, because I tied it into my time on HGTV, and it, let's just say, did not go according to plan. Let's take a quick look back at the project itself. Okay, we're gonna try to keep things as straight as possible, but we will probably be using a sander. Basically, we're taking two straps here and attaching them together so it's one giant star. So in comparison to this lower side, this is actually like a lot of real estate. So I think that we're gonna probably do a couple, and I will try to and leave the middle area open, just because I'm not sure if I feel like we need to put marquee lighting in here in the seam, which will be a little bit tricky, but I think it's important. Okay, so I'll start with the top and bottom ones just to make sure everything is aligned tightly. Okay, so now I want to add some dimension to this star, and I have some pre-primed 1x4s that I would like to use. Okay, we're finished with all of the nailing and cutting and all of that. Not drilling the holes and everything, but the one thing with cutting with a jigsaw, you're never gonna get like a super, well,
I'll never say never, but you know, probably.
You're usually gonna have some variation on the line. It's not super straight, but that is no matter, because that is what putty and caulking is for. now we're going to put our lights on, our marquee. I think I'll flip this around. Really? No, I gotta do it from the back. How are we gonna do this? We gotta figure this out because I need to access both sides. So I think what I'm gonna do is like one at a time, we'll kind of slide it out a little bit like so. All right, so we're gonna start down here on the bottom and then push our, I don't even know, the light bulb holder. What is that called? I don't know. We'll push it through and then we will thread on our light bulb and then we'll just do that all the way up. So we'll just keep feeding it and putting in our light bulbs. And it's a super, super easy process at this point. And hope that we did a good job making sure that all of our measurements right. Yeah, this will be good.
Fantasies I've got, fantasies that we're driving down the boulevard. You hold me close and all the scars are gone. I should say
So the project was really amazing. That marquee star is 7 feet tall. It's ginormous. But to me, it was a symbol for myself, but also for you as a community to never let anybody dim your star, never let anybody steal your dreams and hopes from you. And if you want more to that story, you definitely need to go check out that episode because that episode was less about the DIY star and more about believing in yourself and not giving up on your dreams, especially when negative voices are trying to tear you down. So I really recommend you checking out that episode if you haven't seen it before. I will link it in the description box below. And the Nurtured Home said, "You are amazing." Well, guess what? I think you are amazing, and I think all of you are amazing. You're really incredible people, and you have so many gifts and talents, and I'm so, so grateful for you. She goes on to say, "Honestly, I don't even watch HGTV more. Just don't like the channel now, but I watch you all the time. How funny. I think YouTube has more power than HGTV now anyway. God put you in the right spot at the right time for such a time as this. You go, girl." Well, that comment really touched my soul, and there were so many more just like it, and I read each and every one of them, and I really, really appreciate the love and support. Now, my goal wasn't necessarily to clown HGTV. I think HGTV is great. I was just sharing my personal experience of, you know, a time where I felt less than, and I hope that you could learn from that. So I hope that you still love and support HGTV, or if you don't, I hope it's not because of me. I love everybody and I want to lift everybody, including all of the talent on HGTV as well. Up next was one of our most challenging projects of the year, and I'm lumping it all into one DIY even though it was many, and that was our Arizona Money Flip series. If you haven't seen that series yet, you are definitely going to want to check it out. So this project was really a huge project, and if you haven't seen this series yet, you're definitely going to want to check it out. I'm going to link that playlist below because it was just a massive undertaking and there's no way to do it all in one episode. But let's take a quick peek back at what that was like.
So this is our home in Arizona, and it actually was the first home that my husband and I purchased together as a married couple. There's a lot of sentimentality here, but as you're gonna see, it's not in the condition that we thought. Our expectations were low, I would say, but it was worse than we thought.
So I actually did this gray color when gray was really hot at the time, and now it just feels very dark and cave-like. All right, so kitchens sell houses, and this is not gonna do anything. Like, the blinds are trashed. We've got dark brown color, which made sense with the decor I had when I lived here, but it looks terrible now. This was an old DIY from many years ago. It's seen better days. This was all painted out with like a decorative wallpaper thing, and so this is not a statement wall. This fan, look, is coming apart. It's warped. It just looks awful. What have we got ourselves into? Over here, we've got the bathroom. It's probably one of the better rooms in the house. We've got, you know, it's got potential in here. Okay, we're gonna go into our mud laundry room. This is just so tired. These are new, so there's that going for it. This stairwell area, I would say, has maybe seen better days. This is very builder basic. Because of everything else we're doing and the limited amount of time, not a whole lot is gonna happen in here other than fresh paint. We're gonna replace this wall sconce that just doesn't look very attractive. In like the hallway area, just switching out the baseboards in general and a fresh coat of paint. Simple fixes. This was my boys' like little nursery room, so I kind of like this room because it's nostalgic. This bathroom that I'm about to show you is so bad. Look at this floor. Yeah. So needless to say, this needs completely ripped out. It's cracked to high heaven. This is like builder grade from early 90s. It's in terrible shape. I did paint this out a long time ago. You know, I added like some beadboard wallpaper to the fronts of the doors and painted it all out, and it's actually held up okay. It's definitely not a good color, but we'll work on that. Then this was my daughter Riley's room, and this was really cute at one point. We had like an accent color here. This was a really adorable room. Now the master bedroom, it's like a highlight of the house. It's really big. I don't know if it's luck or hassle, but they left a mattress here for us. So I went and got a little bed in the bag, and so we have a place to sleep while we're here. But this is a really big bedroom, and it's got a lot of potential in here. I don't think this room needs a ton of work, but we've got some issues with the balcony. So first of all, this door sticks. This is locked. It sticks. It actually does not look bad from here, but we'll show you when we get out downstairs. You'll see that this is hiding some big secrets. The master bathroom is also not terrible.
You sure about that?
Like, there's definitely worse places. You know, it's very builder grade. This backyard has a lot going for it, honestly. Now, remember how I said the balcony looked beautiful upstairs? Well, honey, show him. It was masking a whole lot of ugly. We've got all kinds of water damage. It's not probably structurally sound, honey. What do you think? Is that?
No, it's bouncy at most.
Things are rotted out.
It's dry rotted, mostly. A little bird's nest right there.
Pool is beautiful. The backyard is beautiful. We've got one issue over here. The entire time we've owned this, I don't know what we'll do about this. Maybe we'll talk to our landscaper and get some ideas. But the yard is beautiful. It's actually like a redeeming part of the whole property. You just got through seeing all of my plans for this house, all the things that I want to do, but today is a new day and we got our home inspection report. And
Well, typically you don't get a home inspection report at this stage in the game. Usually you wait for your first negotiation, but we just were like, hey, let's not have any crazy huge surprises. Let's go ahead and get the home inspection. So we did. This is the longest home inspection report I've ever seen.
it basically said our house is terrible.
So I mean, there's some good things, so that's nice, but
Yeah.
we got some big ticket items that we need to take care of.
So yeah, the question is this a money pit, honey?
Yeah. Yeah, so the home was built in 1995 and essentially has not been touched since then.
Well, we did put in a new AC unit, but that cost us money.
There's some positive aspects of this. Well, first off, what's nice is the foundation. No, so we got the great news that we need to replace the roof. That's a big one.
He was
So
saying
that's
like
gonna be-
$25,000.
Yeah. The other big thing is our deck. It started to rot from the inside out, and it just looked horrible, and it needed to be replaced. We redid it in 2015. So this is the second time we've redone this.
Okay, so it's going to be how much this time?
Well, it's going to be about $8,000 right now. We were expecting paint and a little bit of
Maybe new countertops.
just a little bit of love here and there.
Yeah.
But it certainly wasn't even in the stars of being a $50,000 renovation.
Yikes. Oh my goodness, they've already done a coat of paint and it looks like the exact same color as it was before. That is so funny.
Dreaming of you.
I've got my brother-in-law Jared here. He's been helping me with a whole bunch of stuff around the house, and he is going to replace the front door for us, and so it will be a brand new one. If you guys need any help with electrical or anything, he's actually an electrician by trade. If you live in the Idaho, Utah, Wyoming area, keep him in mind. I'll put his contact below, but he's going to replace it. So
Here comes the new front door. New front door looks so amazing. Can't wait for it to be finished off. Right here on either side of the garage, there is no lighting, no garage lighting. Wiring, something like that after the fact would be really, really expensive. This, hands down, is the coolest thing I've ever found. There we go. Perfect. Cover that up and it might pop on. See? Isn't that awesome? I'll show you at night, but that is so cool. It's 8 o'clock in the morning and it is already wicked hot out here, but I want to plant these bougainvillea bushes because I think that they're very like quintessential Arizona. You see them on the sides of the freeway. I've always thought they were beautiful, and we need a little color for our curb appeal makeover.
My way. 'Cause I find my way, my way, my way. My way, my way. 'Cause I find my way.
Curb appeal makeover on our forgotten Arizona flip is done, and I am thrilled with the results, mostly. I have a little scraper and a rubber mallet. If you didn't have broken tiles, you would take the rubber mallet, hit it to break one up, and that would help you get it up. But I think this is gonna be pretty easy. As you can see, we've got a little bucket that we can put the pieces in, and we have a dumpster outside because we've been ripping out lots of stuff.
She promised me to never leave my side.
And if you can't get in on one angle, come in from a different angle. So the first thing we're gonna do is I got this transition strip. I'm gonna cut it to fit in this area right next to the carpet so that it has a nice transitioning piece. And then I've got this underlayment because we're not gonna repeat their mistake of where they just laid it right on the subfloor. We are gonna do a water barrier, and we're gonna cut that to fit, and we'll go to that point. underlayment cut and it fits. I did kind of piecemeal it here together, but I think once we get like the thin set and everything in there, that will be fine. And it's behind the toilet as long as everything's kind of sealed together. And they do touch, it looks like it doesn't, but it's kind of just curling up on the edge, so it'll be good. So I'm going to pre-cut all of my tiles just so that once we do the underlayment, we can do it all in one fell swoop. We'll get the thin set and attach our underlayment, and then we'll immediately lay the tiles so that it can set up. I decided to pre-cut all the tiles so when it came time to lay them, it would be more efficient. I numbered and labeled them so I knew where they went at reinstall. All right, it's time to start laying the tile and setting everything down. I'm not a professional tiler, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Let's get going. Here's where we're at. I was able to get a few tiles in over here, but I did not want to continue on with the rapid set because it was just drying too fast. I was able to get it under here. I don't know if we recorded it very well. That underlayment is set, so we're going to finish out the tile. So we've back buttered this, and now we're going to lay it over here. Make sure that I do it the right direction. It's a very messy job here. Okay. After letting the mortar dry up for 24 hours, I removed the labels and proceeded to grout. Next up is some cleanup and patchwork prior to painting. This red cabinet had its time, but that time has come and gone, and it's time for a new paint color, and I chose Sherwin-Williams Black Caviar, which is the black color that I use pretty much anytime you see me painting something black. When we removed the old vanity light bar, we realized that the newly purchased light fixture would have been off-center when installed, but luckily my brother-in-law Jared, the electrician, was able to move that over to the side for me, but I then needed to patch the hole left behind. Finally time for the room to get a fresh coat of paint. Because I was running low on time prior to the next step coming up, I painted where the light fixture was going to go first, and the second it was dry, I installed the new vanity light. We've done really good on staying on budget in here so far. However, we are about to go over our initial budget just a little bit because we decided that this bath I thought we could clean it to get it looking nice and new, and it just isn't cleaning up well. It's just dirty and it's not getting clean. So we have decided to invest $250 to have a professional come refinish this bathtub for us to get it looking brand new. It's the only one that we're gonna do in here, in this house, I mean. I think it's worth it. I think it really needs it, and I think it will really help this bathroom that we're spending a little bit less money on. Even though this is not the primary bathroom, we still need to give it a little bit love and attention, and I think it will be worth it in the end. It's ready. We can't be in here when he actually sprays because it's pretty toxic stuff, so you don't get to see the actual process, but you'll get to see the result. Oh my gosh, look at that. That looks amazing.
I would wait a lifetime if you were at sea.
Now it's time to finish up this project.
And I feel that our love is real. If I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you. Oh, I just wanna love you right
backyard and patio area has so much potential. The redeeming part of this patio and backyard area is right behind me. It's got a beautiful pool. It's got a beautiful grassy area with the landscaping looks really, really good. We've got this pool deck that has staining on it. It has missing chunks and it just looks very tired and in need of a lot of love. There's some cracks in it, but we're not going to replace it with all of the other things, and I'm hoping that with a fresh paint job that it will look a lot better.
Passing by, life is good.
All right, it started. We are ripping down the balcony. It's going to be brand new.
Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find myself.
They're getting this destroyed and demoed so quickly. They're doing a great job.
I feel so alive.
It's almost completely demolished, just the base now.
I would be up waiting for you if you had to leave.
I'm actually liking the back of the house more than the front of the house. It looks good back here.
I just wanna say that I feel that our love is real. Maybe we should hurry up and seal the deal.
I was so busy inside working on another project that I missed them painting this, but this looks so good. Look how beautiful this is. It's so pretty. So I've never fixed a patio or a pool deck before, but what I picked up here and I'm hoping it will work is this pre-mixed stucco repair kit.
I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you. If I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you. If I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa in our backyard. Because we think that this will become a negotiating point, it costs us more money than it would cost to fix it, we've decided to go ahead and repair it. Now we can't match up this because this is long time gone, but we can match up what's here and get this not leaning over, and then I'll probably get some touch-up paint that matches this brick a little bit better so it doesn't look so weird. It is what it is, but if we can alleviate any major concerns of disrepair, that's what we're trying to do. See how off that is? It's so crooked and janky looking. And we think it might be stressing this wall and leaning this over. So if we can fix that, hopefully that won't become an issue. So they just finished doing this wall and it's still actually drying. They stuccoed it. It looks incredible. Such an added feature. Today we are working on the kitchen. It is in such rough shape that we really need to overhaul it. So let's get started. The very first thing that we're gonna need to do is start disassembling this kitchen. We'll probably start by removing the doors, and I'm trying to get somebody to come and help me install them because they are like RTA cabinets, so that means that they need to be assembled and then installed. Let's get tearing apart this kitchen. It's demo time. What drill do you got there, honey? The Athena drill, you like it? Okay. You know, I really like to do things independently, but I am so glad that I have you around because I couldn't have pulled that cabinet down all by myself, I don't think. It was nice to have a second set of hands.
You did so good.
Oh! All right, we called in reinforcements. We've got my brother-in-law, Jared from Genesis Electric. You remember him from other episodes. And then of course my honey. And we are about to rip out the kitchen the rest of the way. So let's get this going. My husband just picked them all up. Good job, honey. Woo!
New cabinets.
Yeah, yeah. Look at that precision. Nice. All right, we got rid of the island. Now we're gonna put the new ones in.
Say something that will make my day, 'cause these memories of her won't go away. They're haunting me so I can't sleep. She was a pretty little liar who cut me deep, 'cause she left me here alone. Now my bed feels just like cobblestone.
Okay, so this is our free tile that we found in the garage. It's gonna work perfectly. And we are gonna go ahead and then see how easy it is to install this on the Simple Mat. And we're just gonna do a simple subway tile pattern. And I'm gonna try to do as many whole pieces at first and then go back and do the cuts. But we'll see, maybe I'll change my mind as we go.
Don't let go. I understand. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. If all the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay.
Let's get grouting this and then we're gonna start doing some of the other final finishing touches. Let's do this.
Maybe the trees will whisper the word. Maybe the sun will spread your joy to the ones who lost their hope.
We are going to be doing the master bathroom. The flooring is not terrible, but it's not nice either. It's a very builder grade bathroom overall, so I'd like to elevate it a little bit. I would also really love to switch out the vanity because it is a little bit lower. What I definitely want to do is repaint all of the walls, put in maybe a couple of individual mirrors. So let's get into it. Demo time means safety glasses. Let's get demoing. with how like loose all the tiles are and everything, we got really, really lucky. There is only like very minor surface level mold that I can kill really easily with some bleach. And then we'll let it dry. But we're golden. For this weird piece that goes in the shower, we've got X is all going. I think once we grout, I'll caulk right around there and it will look way better. Took a lot longer than I wanted it to cut all of these because of the crappy tile saw, but we're ready to lay it.
Never thought it would be so hard. I grew up without a scar, just living my life with no big worries. And I've always known what I want without a scar, just living my life with no big worry. Cause if I shut down, it just gives them right. I wanna stay wide open. Cause if I shut down, it just gives them right.
Since it's kind of dark, I think it's only appropriate that we now address the light fixture. Now, I decided to keep the chrome bar because I thought it had a lot of style and I thought it was totally usable, and we tied that in with the beautiful faucets that we've got. I also have a toilet paper holder that matches, and it's all gonna tie together really nicely in here. But I felt like the shades on it were dating it, and so what I did is I ordered some glass covers. They're very similar to the ones that I used in the other bathroom, and so we are gonna put these on now, and then we're also going to be using some Edison bulbs to just give it a nice contemporary look. Again, I didn't spend any money on the light fixture itself, just the shades and some new light bulbs, so we're gonna do that now.
Cause she left me here alone.
All right. Wrong one. Whoa. Yes. Perfect. Okay, so moving on. We've got light now. We're going to attach the backsplash and caulk everything.
To know that she'd leave, was that the naive that was I supposed to know that she'd leave.
So this is gonna take a ton of caulk on the back here, and I'll probably have to come redo it tomorrow after it dries. But I put blue painter's tape in there just so I don't make a horrific mess. Oh my gosh, this is gonna take more than one tube. Not a whole lot I could do, honestly.
Why did she go? Was I supposed
I'm gonna pull this back while it's still wet. When that dries, it might cave in, so I might have to redo that tomorrow, but we'll leave it for tonight. Looks pretty good.
It was a crooked little smile that caught my eye. Time went by and it was her and I. She promised me to never leave my side, but she left me here alone. dumb, I still check my phone, 'cause I can't move on. Whoa. Why did she go? Whoa. Was I supposed to know that she'd leave? Was I too naive to think that she'd be the one? Whoa. Just tell me, why did she go?
All right, it's time to hang the mirror. I only made a few extra holes. Now, when we first stepped into this house, the first time about a month ago, we were horrified at what we saw. It was in far worse condition than we could ever imagine, but now this space is all shiny and new. It's beautiful. It has new baseboards, new paint, new switch plates, new light fixtures, and it just looks so stunning and would definitely leave a good first impression. Then in this family room area, I cannot believe the transformation in here. It's light, it's bright, it looks so fresh and clean. We do not have the cave-like wall that once was there with the dark, dark brown. Instead, we have vertical shiplap on the back wall, floor to ceiling. Maybe the new owners can come in and paint it out all white, but we decided to just paint this wainscoting area to match what we did in the kitchen and match what was on the back of the kitchen island. I just love how cohesive this is. Now, the one thing I would change is this door area. If I had more time, I was going to paint it out black, including all of the casings and all of that. I think that would look so sleek and sophisticated and really play into all of the other black accents that we have going throughout the house. So that is what we've got going in the family room area. I'm thrilled with how it looks. It looks fantastic, and I hope the new owner loves it. Another area that we made over that didn't get its own dedicated episode was the stairwell area. All we did here was very simple, but it made all the difference. I think it's sleek and sophisticated. It matches the lighting that we've got going on throughout the house. I just love it. We also put in some updated light fixtures in the hallway that were less dated and all of that. And then new baseboards, new wall paint, and it just looks so much fresher, so much newer, and hopefully it will mean some extra dough. Okay, let's go on upstairs and show you what we did up there. So this is Chris Lundberg of Redeemed Real Estate. He's our agent that we've hired to help us sell the house, and here's the keys.
Ready to go? Yeah.
So make us a ton of money. What do you think that we're looking at ballpark price-wise?
So I mean, right now we don't have a lot of inventory, which is great. So
that's good for us.
Yeah, 565 is kind of the number that we're looking to shoot for. And there's another house that was very similar that just went under contract. So
perfect.
We're going to list it at that and see what happens. But yeah, it's a good time to be a seller. So
awesome. You know, with interest rates so high, we were a little worried, but it's good to hear. So get it sold for us.
I'm on it.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
So we worked really hard. We finished the house. It turned out beautiful. We were really proud of it. It got put on the real estate market. It went under contract in the first week, full price, really qualified buyer. Everything was going according to plan. And then what happened?
And then we got a call from our realtor and said the inspector during the due diligence period walked into our house and it was covered in water. A water main was punctured upstairs, and it flooded.
Not by me. I just want to be clear. It was not me who punctured the pipe.
Yeah, so it was just a fluke accident. So the baseboards, the nail went through a baseboard and right into a copper pipe, and then the nail rusted out. And we're thinking magnitude between 6,000 and 10,000 gallons of water were released into the house. So kind of a huge deal. We don't know really how much the repair is going to be, but it's going to be a lot.
It's definitely going to slow down our cell, if not like make it fall apart altogether. We just don't know at this point.
But whatever it is, it'll be brought back to as good or better. I mean, so that's what needs to happen.
Okay, so how are you feeling? Is this a money pit?
It still feels that way. Yeah, it still feels that way.
Oh my goodness, was that not something else or what? That was a huge challenge that ended up really good in the end, but your comments during that really kept me going. And here's one comment that I got. It's from at Jen's Corner 777. You guys are such a great couple together. Thank you. I kind of like him. I loved the message at the end from your husband. Life is hard. It is meant to test us, and if you're doing life well, you will be tested. I needed to hear that. It's been a hard 12 months, a full year of intense testing and struggling, but I know God has a plan and a purpose for all of it. Thanks for the video. God bless you guys. And I know that so many of you are facing challenges. We are all struggling, and that's what I love about this community, is that we can all come together, lift each other up, straighten each other's crowns, and all ascend together, because that is exactly what I'm trying to build in this community, is a safe space. A safe space where you all feel empowered, uplifted, and motivated to do anything that you want to do, whether that is DIY or something else altogether. I hope that you feel uplifted when you watch my content and feel like you can do anything, because I truly believe that you are really powerful and you can do anything you set your mind to. So I hope that that message comes through to you, and reading comments like this, I just know you're all struggling and we can be there for each other, and that's what I love about this community. So in the end, I just want to thank all of you for being my co-creator in this Design to the Nines project that we have going on here. I really tried to listen to you, to bring you the projects that you ask for, also bringing you projects that I love to do, and hopefully that you find value in what you see here. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all of the support that you've given me in 2024. I hope to continue to grow this community, to get this message of positivity out there, to hopefully lift you up, inspire you to see your inner potential. That is my absolute goal, is to lift and elevate all of you to discover your amazing, incredible potential. And I hope you feel that every week as you join me, and that will continue on. So again, thank you. And if you enjoyed this episode and want to check out my 2023 projects, you can check them out right here. And to all of my DIY goddesses, I just want to remind you once again that you are more powerful than you know. We'll see you next time. Bye.